Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
New on GMT this morning, flags at all state government buildings will be lowered to half staff as the Nogales community mourns the loss of an officer. Plus, fire crews are battling the tinder fire in northern Arizona as it continues to spread this morning. Just how many acres have been claimed so far? And we have continuing coverage of the Arizona teacher walkout. It is day 3 of the strike, and hundreds of thousands of students across the state will not be in school again this morning. A good Monday morning to you, Tucson. I'm Whitney Clark. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get right to our top story for the day. Organizers for the Red for Ed campaign say they will be back at the Arizona Capitol this morning. Thousands of teachers are expected to rally near the Arizona House and Senate buildings starting at 10. Organizers say educators will meet with lawmakers and the community. Now, Governor Doug Ducey is expected to introduce his latest proposal to the legislature as part of the state budget today. Many districts here in southern Arizona closing their schools for a third day. Now on your sides, Max Darrow joins us live from Catalina Foothills High School. Max, teachers are headed back to Phoenix today. Is that correct?
That's correct. The organizers say they'll be up there for a walk-in at the state capitol, and right here at Catalina Foothills High School, actually a couple of teachers just started to gather, and they'll be headed up there from this high school. Now, educators voted last week to walk out, and an estimated 50,000 people marched to the Capitol in Phoenix. They say education funding needs to be restored, and while Governor Doug Ducey's original 20 by 2020 plan would have raised teacher pay, they say it didn't solve the other problems that schools face. Critics say teachers should not be walking out on their students, but some of these teachers respond and say, while it's unfortunate they're not in the classrooms, this wouldn't be a problem if lawmakers would restore funding levels to where they were back in 2008.
When will they listen? Will they listen if suddenly we said, yeah, over the summer, oh, we're going to walk out? It'll make no statement at all. This is the only way that we can get our message across.
And Governor Doug Ducey says he's proposing a plan that would raise teacher salaries by 20% by 2020 and also include $100 million for improvements and support staff, and that would increase to $371 million over 5 years, and all of this would not raise taxes. Now, again, educators will be at the state capitol today, and these teachers will be leaving from here at Catalina Foothills High School. And if you want to see a list of all of the districts here in southern Arizona that have closed their schools for a third consecutive day, head to KGON9.com. Live at Catalina Foothills High School, Max Darrow, KGON9 on your side.
Thank you, Max. Well, as educators wait for a bill to be passed, several districts in southern Arizona will remain closed, as Max kind of mentioned there. The list includes the 2 top districts, TUSD and Sunnyside, also Amphi, Marana Unified, and Catalina Foothills School District. Vail, Tanque Verde, Sierra Vista, Saurita, and Flowing Wells will also be closed today. And as Max said, you can find a full list of those closures on KGON9.com and download our mobile app to follow today's protests and legislation progress throughout the day. Now let's check in with April for a look outside. Good morning, April.
Good morning to you. 62 so far, the low. We just dipped to that. Calm winds with clearing skies as the sun rises, and that's typically when we see our low of the morning. 62 out there right now. It is going to go up, but we are going to be a little bit cooler today with that wind blowing in. Strong fire concern. 68 is what we'll hit by the 8 o'clock hour, but right around 86 is what we're going to hit for the high. Very close to our average there, but cooler temps and more wind will continue. We'll go over the details coming up. All right, Big Al, how's it looking?
April, let's take a look at northbound I-19 coming off of Ajo and moving past the construction zone up into the crossing of I-10 and then onto the westbound freeway. Very slow there. It was red, meaning even slower than what we would normally see, which is about a 25 to 35 mile per hour speed limit. Again, you're out of the construction zone. It's just very curious as to why that is so slow at this early hour and right there where it is slow. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Thank you, Big Al. The entire Nogales community continues to mourn the loss of Jesus Cordova, a man described as a dedicated officer who was killed in the line of duty. He was shot Friday while investigating a carjacking. Cordova leaves behind a pregnant wife and 3 children. Hundreds of people from the community and law enforcement attended a vigil last night to honor Cordova's life and ultimate sacrifice. Now, if you want to donate to his family, we do have a link of the GoFundMe page on our website. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey has ordered that flags at all state government buildings be lowered to half staff today to honor Officer Cordova. Ducey, in a statement, says that Cordova was a dedicated public servant and that his death is a reminder of the sacrifices that police officers make daily to keep their communities safe. The governor also said he extended his prayers and condolences to Cordova's family and that the state mourns the officer's death. This morning, the tinder fire is forcing hundreds of people from their homes in Coconino County. The fire near Happy Jack, Arizona, which is just south of Flagstaff, has grown to thousands of acres. The shelter was originally in Winslow, Arizona, but has since moved elsewhere due to heavy, dangerous smoke.
Many people don't have a place to go if they get evacuated. So we're here. We can equip over 100 people. We can put even 200 people. We have two trailers that are set up for this emergency.
Well, there are about 500 firefighters battling the flames, including 7 hotshot crews and helicopters. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time. A new life in a new country. That's what hundreds of men and women and children from Central America are hoping for. The caravan of migrants who reached the U.S.-Mexico border over the weekend. What is next for them? Plus, Vice President Mike Pence continues to tout the Republican tax overhaul this week. Where in Arizona he plans to stop next. It's 6:05. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. Checking in around the nation this morning now, it's 6:08. Vice President Mike Pence will be in Arizona tomorrow to tout the Republican tax overhaul approved by Congress and signed into law by President Donald Trump. Pence will appear at an afternoon event in Tempe hosted by America First Policies, a pro-Trump nonprofit. Pence is also scheduled to appear at an evening fundraiser for the National Republican Senate committee. Now, closed and at capacity was the message given to hundreds of asylum seekers who are part of the migrant caravan that has been reported lately. Now, despite the announcement, about 50 people walked across a bridge at the port facility and are being allowed in hallways until their request for protection is processed. This is in the San Diego area. Others are camping outside the gate, hoping to get their turn today. The immigration debate continues to be a volatile flashpoint, with the president weighing in. The president has talked about that multiple times in the last few days. Now, the migrants who have been traveling for a month say they fear for their lives in their home countries. White House Dr. Ronnie Jackson will not return to his role as President Trump's personal physician, according to Politico. He is stepping away from his nomination to be Secretary of Veterans Affairs because of allegations of drunkenness on the job, overprescribing meds, and creating a toxic work environment. He will remain on the White House medical staff. Well, the tree that was recently planted by President Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron is no longer on the White House grounds this morning. French ambassador to the U.S. says the tree is now in quarantine and will be replanted. The gift was from Macron and his wife during their high-profile visit to Washington last week. Apparently, the roots were enclosed in a plastic protection and will soon be in the ground again. Well, have you ever met people who think they're cool, but they're really not? One professor at the U of A did some research on that. We'll bring that up next block. Plus, police officers versus a very angry cow. What may have bothered the beast before this close encounter with authorities? April?
And strong winds once again blowing in fire concerns. We'll go over the details of the red flag warning coming up. It's 6:10. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Checking in around the world this morning now, it's 6:13. 17 people are recovering after a chartered bus carrying students and chaperones from a high school band and chorus team crashed. The bus was traveling in North Carolina when it ran off the road, broke through a barrier, and went down an embankment into woods. A trucker stopped and helped open the bus door and handed out paper towels to help those who were bleeding. There were 30 people on the bus at the time of the wreck. A Florida boy learns a lesson the hard way by standing on a corner wearing a hand-lettered sign. That was the punishment his father handed him down for bullying.
I figured I would teach him a lesson that would embarrass him and make him feel the way that the kids feel. I wrote the sign, "I'm a bully, honk if you hate bullies."
Not everyone agrees with the dad's unorthodox parenting, but he was outraged after learning his son bullied multiple classmates and wanted to teach his 13-year-old a lesson. Nature lovers, here's one for you. The world's largest active geyser has erupted 3 times in just 6 weeks, but scientists don't know why. One theory, thermal disturbances. It's where heat in the ground can spur a geyser to blow or create new springs. The Steamboat Geyser at Yellowstone National Park can shoot water 300 feet into the air. That's 10 times as high as Old Faithful. Well, take a look at this. You're looking at the incredible moment a Brazilian surfer rode the biggest wave ever. Actually, that's not what this looks like. This looks like from the Avengers movie, maybe? Yes. This is the Avengers movie. Well, people love it, so they just want to keep seeing it. Okay, moving on now. Well, we have some other dash cam video out of Huffman, Texas. Deputies were investigating reports of a cow that may have been hit by a vehicle. They said it didn't appear to be hurt. It did, however, seem to have a bad attitude about humans. You can see it. I think we might have that video. After a few passes, the cow headed into the woods. There we go. We have it here. Well, oh my gosh. Look at that dash cam video there, April. Well, that cow is not dying. No. It turns out no human, cow, or car was damaged in the encounter, so that is good news. Well, in Sweden, it is so cold, farmers have to keep their cows locked up in a barn to stay warm throughout the winter. But this morning, those cows are celebrating their freedom after the long season. Check it out. Some of them are actually jumping for joy. Oh my gosh, that's really cute. A lot of people come out for the annual event to watch the animals roam back into the fields near Stockholm. This year, about 100 visitors gathered to watch the cows. That is pretty cute to see there.
Yeah,
April.
I mean, you're inside for the entire winter. I'd be jumping around like that too if they let me out. Oh, that's cool. We are seeing pretty mild temps this morning. 62 so far has been the low. We are going to go up from there, but cooler temps definitely on the horizon because of that wind, which we saw yesterday. Strong winds yesterday. We're going to see more of the same today and again tomorrow. So ushering in with that, not only the fire concerns, but cooler temps. We're actually starting to see more 70s and 80s. These are all temps really close to where they should be. That 86 that we're expecting to see today, right at the average. So for at least one day, we'll get to see kind of our norm, if you will. 80 in Nogales, 77 for you in Sonoita, 76 Oracle, 86 though for Picacho, and 3 points. Tucson likely going to hit about 86 as well, which again is our 30-year average. We'll see mostly sunny skies. If we could just go based on the cloud cover and the temperatures, we would love this day, but unfortunately the wind is going to ruin it for us. Not only bringing on fire concerns, but allergy sufferers. Man, if you can avoid this wind, that is going to be your best bet because it really is bad right now. Winds between 15 and 25 miles per hour today, gusting well into the 30s. And then tomorrow, we'll see it die down a bit overnight into the early morning hours of Tuesday. But then as you can see, even as early as 1, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we will already be seeing these very, very strong winds picking up well into the 20s with gusts possibly as high as 45. Really hoping Wednesday will bring on a much less strong wind day, maybe a little bit breezy at times, but hopefully not the red flag warning. That is today. From noon until 7 is when we will see our strongest winds for all of these areas in red. And then these areas that are kind of outlined as well, that's the fire weather watch for Tuesday. Will it get upgraded to a red flag warning? It's possible, but we may also see just enough moisture increasing to keep us from being as much of a fire concern with those winds. You can see the clouds are going to start increasing today and then continue to increase as we move into late Saturday, or late Tuesday rather, and Tuesday night is when we stand to see about a 10% chance for maybe a few thunderstorms. So that increasing moisture might just barely keep us under the red flag warning. We will certainly continue the cool down though. 86 today, down to 81 tomorrow, then just 75 by Wednesday. Man, we're going to rebound quickly though into the weekend. We've got 95 Saturday and near 100 by Sunday. Big Al?
April, the prep work has already begun on Country Club Road. From Speedway up to the Racket Club, which is the end of the pavement on Country Club Road. They're going to redo the whole thing, mill it, repave it. The prep work has begun. It runs through June, and you can avoid it if you'd like by using Alvernon to get around it. Also, some big slowing here northbound on I-19. We've talked about it a little bit from just north of Ajo all the way up to the crossing of I-10 and I-19. Going up to Phoenix today, green all the way up I-10 past the 8 onto the 10 in Phoenix, coming in toward the area of Chandler and Gilbert. Again, the slowing on that northbound side of I-19. Busy stuff there. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Thank you, Big Al. Well, have you ever tried to be cool or tried and then failed? If you failed, you probably don't even know. Well, a professor at the U of A decided to research what really makes people cool. You might think pretending to be cool with mysterious or inexpressive faces, That might be cool, you think, but apparently the marketing professor, Dr. Caleb Warren, found if you really want to be cool, lighten up. Appear as though you're open to other people and smile.
In non-competitive situations, being inexpressive doesn't make someone seem dominant, it makes them seem like a jerk. And it makes them seem cold. And ironically, being cold isn't cool.
Well, he says coming off as cold is only cool in very competitive situations like boxers trying to intimidate each other. Here at K-Gun, thankfully, I have April and Big Al. We don't even have to try to be cool.
We don't even try.
Right?
In fact,
I mean,
April has to go above and beyond to put on a wig.
Oh, yeah.
But we're cool enough, I'll tell you that right now.
Not cool at all.
Sup? Who says this isn't cool? It's all about the attitude.
You know, I don't like these too much.
Attitude, and that's what they were saying, smiling. You know, you got to smile, right?
Oh, I agree. I think we do have to smile.
Thanks, April. We're wearing the same
these
sunglasses,
things.
by the way, too.
We are. They look good on you.
Well, Avengers Infinity War assembled the biggest box office ever. How much the film earned globally over the weekend, plus the Starbucks unicorn Frappuccino, may be a myth, just like the mythical creature itself. Why the coffee joint is getting rid of some drinks. It's 6:20. You're watching K-Gun 9 on your side.
6:23 in your Consumer Watch this morning. T-Mobile and Sprint have agreed to merge after years of negotiations. The combined company would take on T-Mobile's name and leave just two other major wireless carriers in the U.S., Verizon and AT&T. T-Mobile's CEO plans to hire thousands of people and deliver the highest capacity network in U.S. history. Sprint and T-Mobile first discussed the merger in 2014, but plans stalled because of concerns about regulatory challenges from the Obama administration.
America's housing crunch may be caused by a lot of people refusing to move. A new report from Bankrate says nearly 80% of Americans have no plans to move in the next 5 years. That, combined with developers still feeling burned from the subprime mortgage crash, is keeping the number of homes available for sale down and prices up.
And would a $25,000 signing bonus make going to work a little bit easier on
I would
Mondays?
say that probably yes.
Not bad. BNSF and Union Pacific Railroads are giving bonuses like that to lure workers to cities like Denver, Kansas City, Missouri, and Milwaukee. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. Railroads say unemployment levels are particularly low in many cities where they need workers. That plus high demand is creating a labor shortage. Avengers. You seen it yet?
No, but I've heard all about it.
Infinity War dominated the weekend box office, both in the U.S. and around the world. Marvel Studios took in an estimated $880 million worldwide over its opening weekend. It made $250 million just in the U.S. alone. That shatters the previous record for biggest U.S. opening weekend ever. Edging out, you remember this, 2015 Star Wars Force Awakens. Avengers Infinity War also blew through the record for the biggest global opening that was set by Fate and the Furious. Fate of the Furious.
Well, for those who craved Starbucks unicorn Frappuccino or still dream about the crystal ball Frappuccino, I don't really remember that one.
I don't either.
The coffee giant just drizzled some bad news over the weekend.
See what you did there.
Yeah, drizzled like they do with all those syrups. Well, many of those wacky concoctions next year will not be back. Starbucks now says it's going to cut back on those kinds of limited time offers by about 30%. However, the company said new Frappuccinos are launching next week. I'm just going to stick with my coffee that I brought from home for now. As long as it has caffeine in it, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, I don't flavor it whatever you want. Just make it strong.
Yeah. All right. Well, two founders of the classified advertising site Backpage.com are due in court. What they are accused of and just how many of them have pled guilty.
I'm Max Darrow at Catalina Foothills High School. These teachers on day 3 of the walkout are headed up to Phoenix. After the break, I'll have a live interview with the teacher before she heads to the state capitol. You're watching K-Gun 9 on your side.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
Help support our teachers.
Now on GMT, the Red for Ed campaign showing no signs of slowing down as supporters continue to fight for more education funding. It's day 3 of the teacher walkout, and the rally will continue this morning in Phoenix. Organizers hope to send the message that they want action from state lawmakers. Good Monday morning to you, Tucson. I'm Whitney Clark. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, as thousands of teachers head to Phoenix this morning, several school districts remain closed again today. The districts that have decided to close their doors are TUSD, Sunnyside, Amphi, Marana Unified, Catalina Foothills, Tanque Verde, Sierra Vista, Sal Rita Unified School District, Vail, and Flowing Wells as well. Now in Phoenix, the American Federation of Teachers president is expected to speak at the rally this morning supporting the walkout. The organization is just one of several in the state that represents educators and their movement. Now today, organizers hope to send the message that they want action from the legislature, as Governor Ducey says he now has a plan. Now on your sides, Max Darrow joins us live from Catalina Foothills High School with the latest. Good morning, Max.
Good morning to you, Whitney. Right now, we've got about 2 buses full of teachers and educators and supporters for the Red for Ed movement just about to leave here from Catalina Foothills High School, and all of these people are headed up to that walk in at the state capitol today. And I'm actually joined by a middle school teacher right now, Donna Baker. Donna, thank you for being with us this morning. You're headed up there.
Yes, I am.
Big picture, what would you like to see be done with this walkout?
I would really like to see the state of Arizona legislature take education seriously for the first time in many, many years. We have been working without funding for at least the last 10 years. One of the things that the state requires is if you require materials for your children, you have to be prepared to pay for them. That's another unfunded mandate. So that's one of the places where we take it out of our pocket. So it's not just a pay increase for teachers, it's get money back in the schools. So the schools that need repairs, the buses that need to work, the textbooks that need to be updated. If we could take care of those things, then we would be in great shape.
So Governor Ducey's plan that he proposed over the weekend, or says he's planning to propose, would be more encompassing than his original 20 by 2020 plan. What do you think of this new one?
We need details. How is he going to make sure it stays funded? There's nothing that has been presented to us so far that guarantees that this is not another pie in the sky kind of thing.
What do you expect today's walk-in at the state capitol to look like?
I hope it's going to be the same thing it was on Thursday, because that was absolutely magnificent. There were teachers from all over the state, and they have to take us seriously because now at least they're thinking about it.
All right, Donna, thank you for being with me this morning. Best of luck and safe travels up there to Phoenix.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. And again, these teachers are headed up to the state capitol for that walk-in today in Phoenix. Whitney, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Max. Well, you can find the full list of district closures on KGUN9.com. You can also download our mobile app to follow today's protests and legislation progress throughout the day. Now let's say good morning and check in with April for a look outside. Hey, April.
Hey there, it's nice outside right now, but boy, is it going to get really windy again later today. So heads up all you allergy sufferers. 62 right now and relatively calm. Get out there and enjoy it before the wind really starts to pick up. It will be a little bit cooler today. Yesterday we topped out at 92. We're looking at a high of 86 with strong winds by this afternoon. How's it looking over there, Big Al?
Pretty good, April. Here's a look from 22nd Street looking north toward Push Ridge and then toward the Tortolitas. Visibility pretty good. Those of you that are getting ready to head up toward the Phoenix area, clear travel. We're pulling this freeway back slowly. Look at all the green all the way up over toward Casa Grande, and then some very light slowing eastbound on I-10 right through the stretch north of the state capitol. But again, I don't think there's any westbound I-10 issue you're going to have to worry about. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Thank you, Big Al. And the crime alert for you now this morning at 6:33. Police are searching for a man they say tried to abduct a 9-year-old girl. Here's what police know. The girl was sleeping in her bed near Grant and Dodge yesterday at this apartment complex. That's when the suspect reportedly opened her window and tried to get her to follow him outside. A family member heard the noises and started yelling. Then the man ran away from the window. If you have any information about this, call 911 or 88 Crime. A court hearing is scheduled for the 2 founders of the classified advertising site Backpage.com in a case in which they are accused of knowingly running ads for sexual services. The hearing will be held today for Michael Lacey, James Larkin, and 5 employees of the site who are charged in this case. All 7 have pled not guilty. Prosecutors say the site brought in $500 million in ads promoting prostitution despite warnings to stop. Part of the charges accused the publishers of using ads that depicted children. The quest for peace on the Korean Peninsula continues this morning. What North Korean leader Kim Jong-un supposedly told South Korean officials about his nuclear weapons. It's 6:34. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. Checking in around the world this morning now at 6:37. New progress on the quest for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Overnight, China announced its foreign minister is going to North Korea this week. Kim Jong-un reportedly invited him. Russian leaders say they're ready to help the process along, too. This morning, South Korea is taking down the speaker that used to blast anti-North messages, and North Korea is changing its time zone to match South Korea. Kim Jong-un also says he's ready to talk with leaders from Japan. The site of that deadly van attack in Toronto was transformed into a place of remembrance and healing. The streets echoed as thousands joined their voices in unity, singing "O Canada." Attendees marched the route of last Monday's attack, and even the Prime Minister appeared at the vigil to pay his respects. The suspected attacker has been charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder. A double suicide bombing killed at least 25 people overnight in Kabul, Afghanistan, and ISIS has taken responsibility. It happened during morning rush hour there. Dust was everywhere. This is some video of that scene. 45 people were hurt. At least 9 journalists were killed. Well, it's a special day for some animals in Pima County. We've got some special visitors to explain why the Pima County Board of Supervisors has declared today Therapy Animal Day. People can't see them yet, but there are some adorable dogs in this building right now.
So
April.
cute. The only thing that makes Monday better, dogs. We are going to see a lot of wind once again, bringing on red flag warnings and fire weather watches, as well as cooler temps. We'll go over the details coming up. Whitney?
Thank you, April. But first, an ABC exclusive look into why a jury found comedian Bill Cosby guilty of sexual assault. Lindsay Davis has the details in today's GMA First Look. Welcome back now at 6:44. It was a good weekend for Arizona softball. Yesterday, the team led 4-1 in the 6th. Sophomore Jesse Harper crushed a no-doubter to left field, extending the Cats' lead 5-1. Still in the 6th, it's freshman Ivy Davis with a walk-off grand slam. The first of her career and the first of the season for Arizona. The Cats clinched their third conference sweep against the Oregon Beavers 9-1. Well, Arizona football had its first draft pick in the NFL since 2016. The Tennessee Titans made a trade to pick defensive back Dane Cruikshank in the 5th round. It's the highest selection since 2014 when the Bears took Kadeem Carey. Now, 4 former Cats also signed as undrafted free agents after the end of the draft. Offensive lineman Jacob Alzadek signed with the Packers. Offensive lineman Gerhard DeBeer with the Bills, and running back Zach Green signed with the Cincinnati Bengals, and running back Nick Wilson signed with the Chicago Bears. Well, I have to say it's been kind of hard to read those stories because we have some new friends with us here this morning. Now, therapy animals give much needed support to many people, and now the Pima County Board of Supervisors is recognizing them for their impact at home and in the community. Today is Pima County Animal Therapy Day, which is part of National Therapy Animal Day. Now, joining us this morning is Corrections Officer John Dickinson and some of our new friends, Luke, Leah, and Leo, which we can see here. Thank you so much for being here with us. Now, tell me a little bit about what these guys do.
Well, we've got 3 new members of our department here. We've got Leo over here, who's working with the deputy side, and he's going to be responding to mental health issues in the community, and he's going to be basically building a bridge between the community and the sheriff's department. And then we've got these 2 new little guys here, and they're 6-month-old pups, and this is Luke and Leah, and they're going to be working in the jail.
Okay.
So their business in the jail is going to be to try to reduce the stress and tension that you'd normally find in a jail setting. Hopefully, we're going to be bringing the stress and tension of the inmates down as well as the staff members. Some of the nice things we've seen so far in the jail are we've seen a lot of smiles in a place that you don't usually get smiles.
Yeah.
So these little guys are bringing the staff a lot of comfort and joy already, and after they're registered as therapy animals at a year, they're going to be able to go into the housing units and interact with the inmates and give a little bit of normalcy to the lives of these people that are being incarcerated until their trials are over.
Well, it's easy to see why they make people smile because we've all been smiling just watching them sort of play around. So they're all siblings, though, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Leo's the first, and he's
like the older brother.
A year old. Yep, he's the older brother, and then these 2 are litter mates, actually.
Okay.
Brother and sister. And they're 6 months old. Leo just turned a year.
And so what kind of training did they have to go through? I see he still has an in-training vest on.
They're all in training for therapy animals. So basically what they're doing is they're going through several different training processes at once. They're going to be going through just a basic canine training to begin with, like these guys have finished recently, and then they're going to go through a canine good citizen, and then they're going to go through a training. Hey, Luke, come here. They're going to go through a training process for therapy animals. And one of the nice things about getting these guys so early is, you know, we're working in some pretty different environments than a lot of therapy animals are. So we're able to actually train these guys in the environments they're going to be working in. So the jail is a really unique setting, and I think it's a big help to have them trained in the jail.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Luke, Leah, Leo, thank you guys for being here. So nice to meet you all. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hello. Sorry.
Sorry, April.
I wanted to go play with Luke, Leo, and Leah.
I almost forgot about you, April.
You know, we forget a lot of things when there's cuteness in the studio, and that's hard for us to ignore. We are seeing very calm conditions right now. That's not going to stay that way, though. Unfortunately, it's going to change rather rapidly this afternoon. We go to the outside view here from the studios looking north towards the Catalinas, and you can see clear skies, not a lot of wind just yet. So that's going to look a little bit more dusty later today. We've got 62. It's nice out. This is the time of day that you want to get out and enjoy any sort of outdoor activity before the dust and the wind and all of that really starts to pick up. 55 in Wilcox right now, 57 Nogales, and 62 in Tucson. Calm winds right now, really not bad at all area wide across southern Arizona, but this is what you can anticipate as we make our way later into the afternoon. We're expecting sustained winds, sustained being that constant for 15 minutes or longer, from 15 to 25 mile per hour winds, which means wind gusts likely going to be in the 30s and maybe even as high as 40 miles per hour. We'll see some calming overnight into early Tuesday, but then Tuesday afternoon looking to bring on even stronger winds yet again tomorrow. What's the difference? Tomorrow's the fire weather watch. Today's the red flag warning. We may see just enough moisture increasing tomorrow to bring on maybe a little bit of help to bring us down from a red flag warning to a fire weather watch. Still there, though. Still going to be dry enough to be a concern. Here's the reason for it. This system well to our north is why we may only see a little bit of moisture because of how far north this is, but the tail end of it's what's swinging through southern Arizona and bringing us the wind and eventually much cooler temps. So red flag warning today for all of these areas in red, and then the fire weather watch is tomorrow all day Tuesday for all the areas that are outlined in tan. So pretty much the exact same areas we'll see that, but it is going to bring us a cool down. 86 today, down to 75 Wednesday, but look what happens as we rebound into the weekend. We're talking near 100 by Sunday. Big Al?
10 till 7, April Madison. Out west on Ajo Way, there is a big, little-known construction project, big and little known. It's big, but not a lot of attention is paid to it between Kinney and Ryan Field, and then from Ryan out to Fuller, about another 11 miles worth of shoulder work that's going on there. They'll probably be done with that by this fall on Ajo Way near the Tucson Estates. This probably around the late portion of June for it to completely be finished. All the paving, temporary striping's done, permanent striping goes in last part of June on Midvale Park between Valencia and Irvington Road. And finally, this area, gas line work along Houghton Road from Tanque Verde to Fort Lowell. Very narrow north and southbound, one lane in each direction while Northern Pipeline puts in the new gas line. That's the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center. We will take the break. You are watching Good Morning Tucson on KGUN 9 on your side.
Well, 3 days into the walkout, and many students again are not headed to school. Max Darrow joins us live from Catalina Foothills High School. Max, what are teachers planning today?
Well, teachers just left here, actually, where they're headed up to the state capitol for a walk-in. It's day 3 of that walkout, and they'll be at Phoenix once again. Now, these people are demanding lawmakers restore education funding across the board. It's not just about giving teachers higher pay. Now, that includes giving more to support staff and updating resources for students, like getting them newer textbooks. Governor Doug Ducey says he's proposing a plan that would raise teacher pay 20% by 2020, while also giving $100 million for improvements and to support staff, which would increase to $371 million over 5 years. Now, today at the Capitol walk-in, leaders of the Red for Ed movement plan to meet with lawmakers, but again, now 3 consecutive days for many school districts here in southern Arizona. The students are out of the classroom as these teachers continue to walk out. Whitney?
Thank you, Max. Well, the entire Nogales community continues mourning the loss of Jesus Cordova, a man described as a dedicated police officer who was killed in the line of duty. He was shot Friday while investigating a carjacking. Cordova leaves behind a pregnant wife and 3 children. Hundreds of people from the community and law enforcement attended a vigil last night to honor Officer Cordova's life and ultimate sacrifice. Now, if you want to donate to his family, there is a GoFundMe set up for them, and we have a link on our website. Now let's check in with April for a look outside. Hey, April.
Hey there, 66 is what we've warmed it to. We briefly dipped it to about 62. Winds not bad, and as you can see by the dew point and humidity values, it is extremely dry out there. You combine the wind we're going to see later today with the dry conditions, and that is the reason for the red flag warning, the fire concerns. We have a fire concern today and a fire weather watch again tomorrow, but we are going to see cooler temps. 86 today, down to just 75 by Wednesday, holding on to the 70s just barely on Thursday, but the weekend we are going to rebound quickly near 100 by Sunday. Big Al?
3.5 minutes till 7 o'clock. April Madison. Work west of downtown, right on Grande. Luckily, it's not where the great restaurants are north of St. Mary's. This is south of St. Mary's, between St. Mary's and Congress Street. I wouldn't use this area unless I absolutely had to, between Congress and St. Mary's, because of the sewer line work that's going on there over near the Ward 1 Council office. I'd use Silver Bell as your alternate route if I could in that area. That is the latest from our First Warning Traffic Center.
Thank you, Big Al. Well, did you guys see it?
No.
Plenty of other people saw it. Avengers: Infinity War dominated the weekend box office, taking in an estimated $880 million worldwide over its opening weekend. It made $250 million in the U.S. alone. That shatters the previous record for the biggest U.S. opening weekend ever, edging out 2015's Star Wars: The Force Awakens. A lot of people have a lot of thoughts about this movie, in particular the ending, which I will not ruin for you, but I do know.
So you didn't see it, but you know the ending.
No, because Phil was here last. Phil, our resident film critic, was here. He saw it, and he was talking about it, so I made him text me what it was. And I sent it to you too, Big Al.
Can it be something that could be fixed in a sequel?
No.
I don't want to say. I don't want to ruin it.
We're not sure. How about that?
Sorry for that, by the way, if you were going to see it, Big Al. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day, everyone.
See ya.